welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Freak Show. I'm Matt Salzer, and happy Hispanic American Heritage Month, everybody, especially those of Hispanic origin. Now, I live in Southern California, and I can feel it a little bit more. You know, so if there's anything I've learned is that in MMA, there are some good Hispanic fighters. You just look at the history of the sport, and you could name quite a few off the bat, and that's actually what I'm going to be doing today in honor of the occasion. I am going to name the top 10 Hispanic people in MMA, and I should note not all of these people are actually fighters, so let's get to it.
Number 10, Yair Rodriguez. So I'm trying to balance this out with current significant fighters and historically significant fighters, so I'm starting this out with a recent addition, Yair Rodriguez. Now, Yair has made quite a splash in the UFC since he won the Ultimate Fighter Latin America Season 1, and while he was recently set back with a loss to Frankie Edgar, make no doubt, he is definitely going to get up there, and he's also appealed a lot to the native Mexican audience as he's been used quite a few times in their fight card. Number 9, Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza was the first UFC champion. She was also the first Invicta champion, both in the women's strawweight division. And recently, she's hit some hard spots in her career. Her first title defense, she lost to Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and that fight set her back because of the massive beating she took. And she recently lost to Randa Marco. However, in the splits with that was a win against Juliana Lima and Marina Moraz, so we can only hope that she might be able to build herself back up to a title shot and taking back her title. Number 8, Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez is currently coaching on the Ultimate Fighter Season 26 and is also currently preparing for a fight with Justin Gaethje afterward. But he's accomplished quite a bit in the realm of MMA. He won the Bellator Lightweight Championship. He fought and won the UFC Lightweight Championship. He's also fought quite a few big-name opponents and gaining a few other smaller regional belts, Bodog Fight, Maximum Fighting Championship, stuff like that. And also of note, actually was one of the last people to fight in Pride. Regardless of his ups and downs in his career, he is certainly up there and can still accomplish quite a bit more in the upcoming years. Number 7, Anthony Pettis. Now, Showtime has had some ups and downs. He went down featherweight, didn't do very well, came back up, and has had some ups and downs at lightweight, but he's certainly accomplished quite a bit. WEC lightweight champion, UFC lightweight champion, and you can bet that his brother Sergio's going to accomplish a bit as well. And he's certainly proud of his heritage, having his grandparents tattooed on his chest. Make no doubt, Showtime is here to stay. Number 6, the Diaz Brothers. I'm kind of cheating here. I'm putting two guys at the 6th slot, but there's no way you can really put them on a list without being paired together. Nick Diaz has accomplished a bit. He was the Strikeforce welterweight champion, also won the WEC welterweight championship. He's fought for the UFC title before against several different people. Now, he has been in the center of controversy for a few things, testing positive for weed several times, his various antics, trying to dodge press obligations, which apparently to Dana White is a no-no, but he has definitely accomplished quite a bit. Nate Diaz has accomplished a bit too. He won the 5th season of The Ultimate Fighter, and he's been very active in the UFC ever since. Now, he hasn't really accomplished as much as his brother Nick, but at least he's still fighting as compared to his much more combative brother. Number 5, Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz is one of those guys who's accomplished quite a bit as well. He's a 2-time UFC champion. The only thing that took his title away the first time was an injury. Won the WEC Bantamweight Championship, and he's accomplished quite a bit as well. While he did lose in a clinic to Cody Garbrandt, you can guarantee, though, he is certainly in the history books and will probably make some kind of a comeback, against whom we don't know. Number 4, Ariane Celeste, the only non-fighter on the list. Ariane Celeste is known as primarily a ring girl, but she's accomplished quite a bit as well. She has a modeling career outside of the UFC, hosts quite a bit of UFC programming and non-UFC programming. In terms of the Octagon girl, she's basically the face of the company. She's the gal you see walking around with the sign. Now, regardless of how sexist one may call the concept of a ring girl, you cannot deny that Ariane is definitely a brand ambassador for the UFC. Number 6, Cain Velasquez. If there weren't people who had accomplished more than him, I'd argue, in the sport, then Cain would probably be at the top of this list. He's a 2-time UFC heavyweight champion and is fiercely proud of his Mexican-American heritage. He does have brown pride tattooed on himself, so not to mention he comes into mariachi music with a Mexican flag clenched around his fist, so enough said. Number 2, Frank Shamrock. If it wasn't for the fact that number 1 on this list, we will get to him later, broke a record that Frank held, then he would probably make number 1, but either way, Frank Shamrock has done really well. He was the first UFC light heavyweight champion, the first WEC light heavyweight champion, the first Strikeforce middleweight champion, so to say he's accomplished quite a bit is an understatement. Oh, let's not forget his pancreas title. They don't call him champions, they call him the King of Pancreas. And he's one of the earlier pioneers on this list. However, as I said, there's one title reign that surpasses him, and that is the title reign of number 1, Tito Ortiz. To say Tito Ortiz helped the UFC grow at a time when they desperately needed it was an understatement. His brash talk and cocky demeanor drew eyes to the sport in a way that no one else could. He was just an overall star during the dark ages of MMA in America. Not to mention he defended the UFC championship 5 times. The UFC light heavyweight championship 5 times. That record held until it was broken by the almost, if not more controversial, John Jones. He's definitely a pioneer, definitely accomplished quite a bit, and was actually able to go out of his career on his own terms with his last Bellator run. Thank you, Tito Ortiz. You helped out so much. And that's our list. Again, happy Hispanic American Heritage Month. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check out MMA-freak.com for more exclusive content. Comment to make any video suggestions. I'm Matthew from MMA Freak, and I'll see you next time.